this order of the Rockdale Parish Board of Control is in session. Everybody, if we would stand and pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was only curious about my singing.
Sorry.
Solid meditation.
Let's take a moment to meditate. Solicited any comment from the public? Hearing none, we'll move on. Has everyone had a chance to look at the agenda? If so, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved to second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion approved. The agenda has been approved. Are there any board member reports? Hearing none.
I believe Mr. Thomas had a
Is it?
board member report.
Yeah, okay. If you're wondering why there's only a few people here, it's kind of spasmodic to realize we'll be up front. I don't blame them. But anyway, what I like to do, in case you're not aware, my name is Morris Tapp Thomas, I'm a visual artist. Have been for about 6 years, but I'm telling my chronological age. There are two individuals I'd like to recognize this afternoon. I'm a portrait painter. I'm also a sculptor. And recently I began to paint portraits for the last maybe 10 or 12 years. And I started out with acrylic, oil paint, but now I'm using Prismacolor pencils. And I always study my subject because what I do, I'm not concerned about how you look in a photograph. I like creativity. I study the individual before I do anything, the people out there without awareness of what I'm doing. And so if you don't mind coming closer, I'm going to unveil one of them, and I'm going to tell you a few things about what I did and why I did it and how I did it. Let you go a little closer. Walker, you go. This is a surprise for him because the last time we attended a meeting, we're going to walk around and look at facility, things that I've not seen before. And I took a few photographs of it. He said, "Why are you doing this?" I said, "Because I want to." And so, as an artist, each of us, we try to find a technique that is unique to our style. And I'm not too concerned about the epidermis of the skin. I try to paint the soul. And this is done through the eyes, the curvature of the lips, etc. And so when you look at this, you can see that if you look closely. I use about maybe 18 colors to do this gentleman here, which he knows what to do. And we see if we can have some recognition, and if he can also identify who this person may be. This is one of my original works.
You didn't have much to work with.
I tried to reflect his personality. He's an academician. He's an individual that I say real charismatic.
so much.
You're welcome.
I feel honored.
You're welcome. And this individual here, I don't know if you can recognize who she is or not.
Look at that.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
are,
that's so appropriate.
I use, what's called Prisma colors. They're really expensive, but, they work. And, within this composition, we took about maybe 15 to 20 different shots. And, I selected the one I thought that was representative of her. And, she too is a charismatic person. She talked more than I do. But when she verbalized, she has something to say, I don't. But anyway, I thought I would do this for her as a memento. And, for the service that she has provided, to our state and our community as well. Congratulations.
That's beautiful, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
I will treasure it. My husband is going to think my ego is overinflated when I get home this evening. But that is such a lovely gesture, and we're gonna have to put it up, find a nice place to hang it, perhaps in my office, and make sure that it's given the
Yeah.
appropriate
And
space.
in
That's
addition to
beautiful.
that, this may be a good time, since my work is rather expensive. This would be a good time to ask for a raise from the director so she can pay for this thing.
I have to make payments now. Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. I know he was lurking on taking pictures last time, but I had no idea. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he's done all over. There's some of the zoo too. I'm a zoo person, so, well, I used to be. My girls are too grown up now. They don't wanna go to the zoo with their granddaddy anymore. Well, no. Oh, I know. Look, I've already taken up the dress. Morgan, is in the 10th grade and she's a cheerleader. So, I thought she was.
If you don't mind, stay for the rest of the
Of
day.
course.
Morgan bought a dress and it was too big in the waist.
Yes.
Didn't like it. It was easy, cause it's a,
Thank you, that was
it was a one
very good.
dress.
Thank you
Piece
for letting us
dress,
be a
didn't
part
have
of
a
it.
waist. So that makes it easy.
Christmas?
Yeah, Prisma. You're all right, yes, can they?
And Molly, the 12-year-old, is performing at halftime the LSU football game. There, it's a whole bunch of them.
Back to the meeting now. Everyone's had a chance to look at the August minutes. We just need to get approval for that. Can I hear a motion?
I so move.
Second.
Move second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the August minutes have been approved. Next would be the financial report. Celeste, can you do
Yes.
that?
Stacy sends her apologies. She had a conflicting family appointment this evening. In your packet, you will see the balance sheets from July and August. As you know, we have gone forward with updating those to make them more easily readable. There really was nothing unexpected. We did have, of course, the cost for the printers that we had to move forward to this year. That was actually from the grant funding from last year, simply because of the invoice billing, but you all were aware of that as it was occurring. So, but that has been taken care of. We have pretty much been on course as expected. we've had, of course, as you know, the AC repairs earlier in the year, and a few other small costs. But overall, we're where we intended to be at this point in the year, approaching the final quarter. Everything, as you got reported on last time by our auditor, our audit came out pristine, so we are in excellent shape. We are looking at having at the next meeting, having the finalized adjusted budget for this year, having those approvals made, and in November, having everything taken care of with the 2023 budget. We're currently getting those things prepared. Right now, we are crossing our fingers and awaiting the health insurance quotes for next year. So, are there any questions?
Hearing none. Does anybody have any comments? Okay, we just need a motion to see about approving the financial report.
I'll make a motion we approve the financial report as stated.
Second.
Okay. Motion and seconded. All in favor of approving the financial report? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the financial report has been approved. Next up is the director's report.
All right, well, I get the pleasure at the beginning of our director's report of introducing our new board member, Mr. James Morgan. Mr. Morgan has completed his oath of office, if I can speak. Mr. Thomas has me all Twitter. We are going to go ahead, and since you have completed and signed it already at our police jury office, we just, for our record, need you to complete your statement of office. Raise your right hand. All right.
I, James Morgan, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of this state, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on me as a Rapides Parish Library Board of Control member, according to the best of my ability and understanding, so help me God.
All right, wonderful. Congratulations and welcome to the board.
We're getting out.
And Mr. Morgan will be receiving his welcome gift, his board packet, his binder that we all receive whenever we conclude this meeting. It's all of the bylaws, minutes, things that you might need for the future. They're all accessible on our website, but you'll get your own copies. So welcome, and if you need any assistance, our president is Mr. Michael Fairbanks. Miss Leanza Jordan is our vice president.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I have a few more notes. We were nominated in the Best Nonprofit Organization category at the Chamber of Commerce, Son-in-Law Chamber of Commerce Busy Awards. Unfortunately, we did not win, but the fact that we were nominated, and I believe this was the first time we've ever been nominated, was really substantial. And Jennifer Smar and I attended the event. It was a lovely event. So we want to continue conducting library business in such a way that we'll continue to be recognized in the community for the work we do. So that was wonderful. The Museum of Art, who they are one of our partners, they were the winners. So we couldn't be better. We were very happy for them. We have upcoming staff training day, and that is set for November the 7th. Staff members here, as well as some staff members from a few other smaller libraries, will be getting trained on de-escalation techniques, interlibrary loan processing from the state library, and several other topics on how to better assist our community and our patrons. The interlibrary loan processing is something in particular people have been really interested in because of the updates to Loan Shark, the system that's used. So we're really excited about that. And on that note, we actually are now going to be, and this isn't in here, but I can add it now because it's official. The state library is going to be conducting a few classes here because I talked to them about how we are a centralized location in the state, and I'd really like to bring people into Alexandria. So we are going to be the host site for an ILL training that's going to occur in December, and then we are going to be a youth and children's programming workshop site in January. So I'm really excited about that. We also have, we're one of 5 digital navigator digital literacy and inclusion pilot project sites for the state. And I attended the inaugural broadband summit, which was held a couple weeks ago. We had speakers from the political sphere, from several different nonprofit agencies, as well as some of the people who are doing the boots on the ground work to try to get broadband access to all of Louisiana. And that's a really vital project that's going on. It has reached, it's gotten support across the political spectrum, and it's something they're doing that's going to be very similar if the plans go as currently set forth. It's going to be very similar to whenever electricity was rolled out to the entirety of the state and the entirety of the nation, where we're going to eventually have everyone with at least some type of access. That is the goal. So that was a very informative summit. We made some connections, and we're still currently one of those pilot sites with people who are serving as digital navigators and assisting our community with keeping up their digital skills. If you noticed on our website, we now have North Star Digital, which is a software product that provides assessment of your digital skills and also some tutoring and learning modules that our people here, like Samantha, who teaches classes, can then utilize to help people to gain the skills that they need, no matter what their work is or what type of future education they're looking towards. So we have that going on. I also want to let you all know that we will be having, next time, I'm going to be distributing the committee interest surveys. I know that you all are familiar with them, save Mr. Morgan, where we're going to be, basically at the end of the year, we pass out a little survey, and you say what types of committees you would be interested in serving on. Things like properties, long-range planning, personnel, things that you feel that you have the skills that you would like to be involved with. And it's just, each committee meets maybe once or twice per year, and then they would make recommendations to the greater board on whatever topics in that arena are going on. So we're going to be handing those out next time, so start thinking about what types of things you would like to be invested in. And then finally, I'm very excited to announce this. Our state librarian, Rebecca Hamilton, will be conducting a board training for you all. Since we now have 2 new BIT board members, she said, and I'm not saying those of you have been on here for a while, but some of us have been on the board for a while. It's always nice to have a refresher, and we're going to be getting a refresher course on library board policy creation, on procedures, on responsibilities, all of those types of things. So that's going to be coming up, and that will be shortly before the board meeting on November 15th. So it's going to start at noon, and there will be a light lunch provided while you learn. And you're going to receive that, and then ethics guidelines, information from the legislative auditor, all of those things that you may need as a board member. So please make all of your plans to be able to attend that in November. And I think that's all that I have for you right now. I do want to just give a little reminder. I am going to be going to Monterey in mid-October to present at the Internet Librarian Conference. I'll be presenting on all of the amazing work that we have done here, predominantly with our programming and outreach department, via our connection with local health agencies, the Central Louisiana Human Services District, and others around the state with assisting for mental health work and a few other things that Karen is probably going to mention to you whenever she talks to you in just a moment. So I'm very excited to talk about that and to talk about the importance of libraries as connectors to much needed resources in the community. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Direct Services from Lene.
Well, hello to everyone, very short and sweet, we're doing well. We are entering into our fall season, and so we have, our support is to our outreach department, which I don't wanna steal any of Karen's thunder, to our Rapids Read that we kicked off on Friday. And so we have the support of Direct Services doing that, as well as it is library sign-up month. So getting new cards and things like that. So we're excited just to be able to be here and to take care of our customers and take care of our communities. And so that's all I have. So any questions for me? If not, thank you all. I said short and sweet.
All right. Next up is Human Relations.
Yours is sweeter.
I'll do the honors of standing today. As of right now, everything is running smoothly with HR. We have no issues. We're fully staffed, and hope everyone is doing great this evening. That's all I have.
Too short and sweet. Okay, the next one is gonna be the Programming and Outreach.
I won't be as short, but I'll be doubly sweet. How about that? I'm pinch hitting for Carla. And I have a number of things. I'll read her report and then I'll give you a more in depth on our community-wide Rapids Reads. Even though summer reading has wrapped up, the pod has not slowed down. We have continued to have regular programs at each branch for all ages. Some popular programs in August included painting, crafts, book clubs, and our ever-popular plunger games. Craig Jones, our youth learning and literacy manager, had a program for teens at several branches, which was basically a series of games that involved nothing but plungers, new of course, and balls. The teens loved it. I, Karen Riley Simmons, as an adult programs manager, kicked off the programming series called Community Care, which stands for Connection, Access, Resources, and Education. Each month, there is a specific topic covered that affects personal and family well-being. On August 30th, we had our self-care session, and on September 15th was suicide care and prevention. Upcoming topics include caregivers care, incarceration care, grief care, financial care, and also elder dementia and Alzheimer's care. We also have represented the library in many community events, including farmers markets, health fairs, parent cafes, and school literacy nights. We are always excited to tell new people about Rapides Parish Library and everything we have to offer. And that is submitted by Carla Kirby. I did not read the paragraph on Rapides Reads because I'm going to tell you more about it now. Our Rapides Reads initiative is a community-wide read program where we try to encourage our entire Rapides Parish to read the same book and discuss its themes. This year's selection is The Book of Lost Friends by Lisa Wingate, and I believe some of you received a copy, a free copy. If you have not, I do have some available if you'd like to have a copy. What you may not have received at that time was a Rapides Reads bookmark. On the back of the Rapides Reads bookmark is also the calendar of events. Also, what you probably have not yet received is our Rapides Reads reading and discussion guide.
We have those. Because we have copies, Karen. We have copies.
Oh,
We've been using ours.
yes. I want to particularly draw your attention to the Rapides Reads reading and discussion guide, because everything you need to know about Rapides Reads is contained in this little guide.
we themed it Lost Friends, Lost History.
Oh,
And in the front, you can see our partners, the National Endowment for the Humanities, Louisiana Endowment for the Humanities, Friends of the Rapides Library, and the Historic New Orleans Collection, all had a hand in helping us to launch this program this year. Also, there's a little bit about what Rapides Reads is all about, and it is about community connection and shared experiences. I would encourage you to read that. And also, especially in the middle, starting on page 5, is our reading this discussion guide. This guide, the questions were researched and developed by students at LSUA, students of Professor Ginger Jones. They did an excellent job. The discussion questions are pertinent and incisive, and even if you have not read the book, they will generate discussion. In the center of the booklet are images that you will find. These images are of actual Lost Friends ads, which were published in the Southwestern Christian Advocate between the years of 1877 and 1929. If you're not familiar with the Lost Friends history, it is the history of ads and letters that were placed by emancipated African Americans following the Civil War, looking for their lost friends and family members who had been sold off and away, and where they were trying to find their family members and their loved ones. For a number of decades after the war, they did post ads all across the South in newspapers and other places, and they wrote letters to the Freedmen's Bureau trying to find their people. The images of the ads, the actual ads that you see in the booklet, are actually ads that reference Rapides Parish, Alexandria, Cheneyville, Pineville. And this book is particularly significant because it does capture Rapides Parish local history. A couple more things about this guide is in the inside back cover is just a sample of the resources that are found on our website that are related to Rapides Reads. There are articles, there are interviews with the author, there are documentaries, lesson plans, recommended reading for further reading. This is just a sample, and the QR code there, if you have a smartphone, will bring you right to that page. And then again, on the back of the guide is the calendar of events. We had the opening on the 16th, this past Friday, and a lovely time was had by all. Also, coming up on September 29th, I want to draw your attention to that, is the Book of Lost Friends panel discussion, because the author, Lisa Wingate, will be with us via Zoom, live via Zoom, along with the researcher, the volunteer researcher who was with Historic New Orleans Collection, who helped to develop the database where these ads can be found, and who also was the person who informed Lisa Wingate about this history and was the reason that Lisa Wingate wrote this book. That researcher's name is Diane Plauché, and she lives in the New Orleans area. And also a historian from Texas. The action in the book takes place in Louisiana and Texas, and Naomi Carrier of the Texas Center for African American Living History will be the third person on the panel. It will be live via Zoom. The live watch will be here in this room, but also the link will be found on our website soon. And also, it is on the back of the bookmark in blue down here. Zoom can be had wherever you are, via phone or your computer. If you're not able to come here, or if you don't want to come here, people can watch it. And we've had inquiries about that panel discussion from, of course, folks in New Orleans, New Iberia, and in Texas. We expect that it will have a far reach. Let's see. I think that's it. Oh, one last thing. If you have read the book, or if you plan to read the book, this was the favor that we gave out at the Rapides Reads kickoff. It's 3 African beads, blue beads.
What is his name?
I'm gonna explain to you. Hence that stuff. There's an event in the book where these 3 beads would be significant, and you will find the motif all throughout the reading guide. The 3 beads, the 3 blue beads, they are significant in the story. I don't know if you want me to give you a spoiler or not.
No.
Okay, so then, if you don't plan to read the book and you don't care about spoilers, ask me afterward and I'll tell you what the significance is of the 3 beads. But everybody at the kickoff received these, and these will also be distributed at our branches as a keepsake about lost friends and lost history. That concludes my report.
Here, I'm sorry.
Question?
No, the panels.
Oh, thank you so very much.
That's gonna be on the branches.
Something also that you might like to know is every branch will have an exhibit of some sort for the Lost Friends, Lost History. I can pass these as well. These are some of the types of things that will be at the branches. These are enlarged images of the Lost Friends ads that reference Rapides Parish. We had these also on display at the kickoff, and they generated, oh dear, quite a bit of discussion and interest. Also on display at the kickoff, and will be on display at several of the branches, are the 7-foot-high panels from the Historic New Orleans collection, which were part of their Purchase Lives exhibit, which was touring in several states. I can't remember how many states it went to, but it tells the story of enslavement in Louisiana, and there are 5 panels, 5 double-sided panels, so it's 10 panels altogether, the last one of which highlights the Lost Friends history, and that too was on display at the kickoff, and it will be at the West Side Library, the Labousse Library, and the main library. Every other branch will also have laminated 11 by 17 copies of those panels that can be viewed and perused by their patrons. I think that then concludes
Thank you very much.
my report.
We'll report to Carl, you did a good job. All right. Next up is the IT report from Jane.
Good afternoon. It's always so hard to follow programming and outreach. There's always such exciting things to say, and IT is just IT. But the good thing is, I don't have a lot to report, and that means that things are going really well, continue to go well. There's a lot of changes that we've made since we've had our new systems administrator, but it's a lot of things that y'all would not be interested in, and it's all in the background. And I'll give you an example of just something real minor that we've changed, and it's just an example. At all the branches, for the public computers, every morning, staff has to go around and turn on all the public computers. And Pam's laughing because she knows where you're going with this. So he made a minor our systems administrator made a minor change where they just turned them on and they log in automatically. Why didn't we ever think of that in the past? But it's just a lot of little changes like that, but they mean a lot to staff and to me it means a lot. So everything's going well. I'm happy to report. If y'all don't have any questions for me, comments? Thank you.
They're doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you,
Very
Steve.
good. Thank you. And next up is public relations. You're ready to go, aren't you?
Yes, and always. Okay, so I'll start with recently promoted. We had the annual book sale. It was great, and I loved seeing Michelle working at the book sale. That was fun. And Kendra, who else worked? Anybody else in this room work at the book sale? Celeste, you did? I didn't see you. I missed
We
you.
were on opposing shifts, I think.
Okay. And then also, of course, I'm still promoting September programs. I'm working to tell the community about Homework Louisiana. Still promoting Rapids Reads, Banned Books Week, are things that I have recently promoted. Let's see, we have Tales Along the Bayou coming up. You guys know that's our annual spooky storytelling event, my favorite program. And that will be on October 28th at 6 p.m. at the Kent House. If it rains, it will be here. We don't want rain. Okay, and also, I got a little loud, sorry. We have Friends of the Library Month, so we're going to ensure that we have brochures and sign-up applications in all of our locations so that we can get more friends of the library. Digital Inclusion Week happens in October, so there will be a feature in the event guide, and we'll be talking about it on social media and in our branches to inform the community about what digital inclusion is and what we're doing to bridge the digital divide. Let's see. Oh, October is also our Attorneys in Library, Lawyers in Libraries Month. So there will be free legal assistance to our community at the end of the month, and you guys will be getting more information about that soon. I know it's at the end, and this year it's not going to be like in the branch. It's going to be virtual or over the telephone. Okay, on my currently promoting, I've kind of just doubled up. I'm just promoting the same things I did last month with like Homework Louisiana and things like that. I also wanted to point out that we have eBranch services that have dyslexic fonts, and I think October is like a dyslexic awareness week or month. I can't remember which, but I made sure that I will be putting that out so, you know, people who have had trouble reading can get the assistance they need with that. Teen Read Week happens in October, so on social media, I don't know what our program department is doing for that, if that's going to be one of their focuses, but for me, it's, you know, I'm going to be talking about that on social media and, you know, trying to bring awareness to the library and what we have for teens. Tara had started an annual art show last year, so like a little tiny art show. She gives out everybody a little canvas about this big, and they paint it, and everybody brings it in, and then it's displayed for the following month at the libraries. And I think that's a great way to get crafty and creative and bring the community together, you know. And then, okay, last thing, and I will hush because I know this is a lot. I hope you all go to Glenmora. The McDonald branch, they're having their fall book and bake sale. So that's good. That will support. Usually the friends out there decide to support the teens that visit the McDonald branch. So I hope that you'll go buy a book or a brownie and help those teens have a good time.
And I'll be making some banana bread for it.
And when is it?
Okay, I don't have the date on
Oh.
here, but I will get that to you.
It's the end of October, so
It
we'll have another
is.
meeting before.
Right, I'm just letting you know what I'm
Gotcha.
working on. I'm getting ready to promote. And then we actually gained a lot of followers on social media this month. We didn't have quite as much engagement, but we have a lot of people saying, hey, I do want to know more. So that's good. And minus whatever advertising I paid, we reached 58,444 people organically in the community that I could measure. I can't measure it all. It's impossible. But so that's good. And you can see my guest appearances and media relations. Did I forget something? Oh, yeah. Okay, so Karen is going to hand out the new brochure that she did sign. She is also a volunteer. She's a Friends of the Library board member. But this is what will be going out to the branches for Friends of the Library Month. Any questions, just let me know.
All right, next topic is any old business? Hearing none, we'll move on to the new business. We have several things on the agenda. First up is the bylaws review.
Okay, and, as you all know, we put those forth last month, due to the requirements for bylaws consideration. Are there any comments? The most significant changes are making sure that we have a space for our community to publicly participate. And the other major change, was changing from a monthly meeting to a bi-monthly meeting, simply because there are some months whenever we do not have a lot of content, and I know that if you're working or if you have other commitments, it can be really difficult to get here for those meetings. So, have you all had the opportunity to review the changes that were proposed?
I think we had talked about these
We
before.
had.
We needed to get them into the bylaws.
Correct, and then they are all things we've talked about at some point in the recent past, but, and also some clarification, and creating a space, of course, for the public comment, which the public comment is codified in Louisiana law, but I just wanted to make sure that we have that clearly stated in our bylaws as well.
Now, on the order of business, I see it's a little bit different than what we have now.
It's just adding in, ensuring that we have that public comments time. It's just instead of solicitation of public comments, that it just says public comments. And that would come after the agenda.
Right. Whereas now we have it.
Flip flop.
Four, yeah, flip-flops, okay.
And also, I realized that we did not have the executive session detailed out as well. That's something that we needed to have in there. That was missing as well. So, 2.5 years in, and I'm still discovering little things I need to. But I think we're always wanting to seeing things that need a little bit of improvement. So are there any other questions or anything that, anyone had concerns about? Or, there also was not a way, if any of you decided that you needed to resign, I hope I never have to assist any of you with that. There also was not a way that was listed for anyone to be able to resign, and that was something that was important to have in there.
So we're not trapped.
Right, so, I mean, I want you to feel a little trapped, but not completely. I like how the staff members are all laughing in the corner. I'd be only a little bit trapped.
Anybody have any questions or y'all ready?
And of course, the date changes would not, everything else would take effect immediately, because it would go forward with the dates that are set for this year. We would continue on with this year, but those date changes would take effect in January whenever we set the new dates for the new year in the January meeting, if that makes any sense.
If no questions or comments, I get a motion to approve the bylaw.
I so made.
I'll second.
Okay, been moved to second. All in favor of approving the bylaws review revisions? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the bylaws has been approved. Next up is the meeting room policy.
So the meeting room policy is another one of those that, given what's been going on with COVID and limitations in access that were happening, shortly after I arrived up until 6 months or so ago, those changes were not as immediate as some of the other concerns that we had. So that's why this is getting brought up now. There are a few changes that I made, but I basically, I didn't do the same thing that I did with the bylaws where I highlighted, because these were, while not as significant of changes, there were more of them, and I also reformatted so that it was easier for people to utilize, because the public tends to utilize this policy much more so than all of us, honestly. Because as you all know, this meeting space and the meeting spaces in Labousse, Boyce, the King Branch, those are all used very regularly. So one of the significant changes is just stipulating in there that publicity is the responsibility of the individual or organization hosting the meeting. I mean, that is kind of common sense, but it was not laid out as explicitly previously. Also, no private parties or functions. That's to be in accordance with Louisiana law, and that was not as clarified as it should be. We do have a couple of things on the books that would be grandfathered in, because this policy would take effect if you were all to approve it going forward. Also, meetings involving young people under the age of 15 must have an adult sponsor in attendance during the entire meeting. And children under the age of 10 years must be accompanied by a parent or responsible caregiver at all times. That was the intention of the previous wording, but it was not clear. It was not as clarified as it should be. So that's what a lot of this was, just putting down the intentions that were meant when the policy was created back in 1999. So 23 years ago, and it has been revised since then, but there were some intentions that were not explicit. We also updated the list of our meeting rooms, our sites that have meeting rooms and meeting room access, and also wrote some bits about the responsible parties and who would be declared responsible should there be any damage or any cause for concern. So, are there any questions any of you have, or anything that you read through and looked at that didn't seem?
Those look better than so just straightforward, easy to read.
And I'll be completely honest and forthright with you. The formatting style and some of the language I stole directly from Shreve Memorial. John Tuggle knows that I stole from him. That's the director at Shreve. But yes, I took some of the language because I like the language. And also the formatting because it's easier to comprehend.
Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns? Can I get a motion to approve the meeting room policy?
Make a motion, we approve the meeting room policy as written here.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor of approving the meeting room facility policy? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it has been approved. Can I investment policy review.
Okay, and this one is one that truly was just a couple of very minor changes, and they are changes that are evidence of the way that the banking systems work now with our renewal of our certificates of deposit, that instead of having a set timeline, because of there have been so many rate fluctuations, and we try to get in, of course, whenever the rates are going to be higher if we can. We don't want to limit it to only doing that in even number years, because sometimes we have a certificate that may only be for 18 months, and we don't want it just hanging around and potentially rolling over when we could, you know, have something projected to get a bit of a higher rate at the time. So that's what that is for. We want to make it so that we can legally and ethically and according to policy act while the iron is hot. And then also, because if this was pursuant to you all approving the bylaws, but that the statement about the library meets monthly, instead changing that to the library meets bi-monthly. So it's just a couple of simple housekeeping. Nothing significant was changed in there.
Anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns about the investment policy?
I actually see an error. I'm sorry, the editor and me just caught this. Treasurer should be capitalized under fiscal officer. So I'll just make that, so if you all want to make a motion to approve it with that change.
Somebody else's turn.
Can I get a motion to approve the investment policy with the change of the T for treasurer?
Well, no, just the approval of the
Just
entire
approval,
policy
yeah.
with the
Yeah,
change.
you're right.
Yes, sir.
Did say it.
I'll move that we should do that.
You started a trend.
I know, I guess so.
I'll second.
Okay, moving second. All in favor of approving the investment policy? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, the investment policy has been approved. The next item is, the next meeting will be October the 11th. Now, that's the second Tuesday,
It
right?
is,
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
gonna be out of town.
Right, I couldn't remember what the reason was, but right. So that'd be a week earlier, so put that down. Does anybody have any other comments?
I just wanted to say there is an updated board roster in, on the last page. Y'all look over it, make sure all of your information's correct, let me know if you see any issues and I'll, adjust it.
Hearing none, no questions, comments, this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all.
Amen.